Social media wins for the Marco Andretti issue in COTA. I've never seen this before. The entire rear housing comes out of his truck. Have you ever seen this?
No, not in a racing situation. I mean, those barrel flips at Daytona Speedway races, maybe, but not intact like this rolling across the ground.
All right, so I was trying to come up with a conception of why this happened. This is what I believe. In road course racing, under braking, which Marco doesn't run a lot of NASCAR vehicles. They're more IndyCar. They brake very differently. As you get on the brakes, next-gen car, not so much, but Xfinity and truck, they want to wheel hop. What does that mean? That means the rear tires basically skip across the pavement because of flex in both the driveline and the rear suspension.
Yeah, as you look at it, the truck arms, they're 51 inches long, and that's a kind of cantilevered I-beam. And
under braking, if you're going to talk about them, I'll show them. So these are the truck arms, basically. Front of the truck going back. These two items right here are the truck arms.
Yeah, and you look at that, the spring sits on top of it. That's a 1/8 steel C-channel. It flexes. As the brakes get on the rear, it's rolling that housing and it's flexing those truck arms up. And then as you lose contact patch, when the tire starts to grip or lose its grip, it unloads that and becomes this bouncing mechanism, and it just keeps loading, unloading that I-beam.
So simple enough, these components right here hold the truck arm to the housing, and they're still there. These nuts right here, I'm going to zoom in. Let's do it a different way. I like zooming in better. You see those two items right here, this one and this one. Those are the nuts that hold the housing to the truck arm, and they're all still there.
Yeah, if you look at it, there's a U-bolt that goes back around the axle tube and comes back up here. That's how it's secured in there. But as you see going forward from the drawing you had before, there should be a piece of I-beam that goes forward from here. It broke off here at the tube.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, what does that look like if we go back to give everybody a reference? Here are the truck arms, and they're broke basically right here, just in front of the rear housing. And then, look, there are shocks, there's a track bar, there's a drive shaft. None of those are designed to hold the rear housing in the car. I can't imagine how these things, it had to be so violent inside the truck.
Well, and I can't, yeah, I can only imagine. You saw how hard the truck came up because it had to kind of drive over the tires. I can't imagine how hard the hit was when it came back down just on steel.
First of all, I think NASCAR will look at the parts. We've talked to NASCAR. Nothing really looks out of the ordinary there. You never know about mileage or a crack, how it was used. It's going to be interesting to see what the trucks team says moving into the future.
And you talked about it. The next-gen car, now that we've gone to independent rear suspension with an upper and a lower control arm, you don't have this phenomenon where you wrap up and unwrap the suspension. So they just skid the tires now when they get to that. IndyCar is much the same way. If you look at Marco's history, he's never driven something that has this kind of style of suspension, probably didn't understand what the wheel hop was and how to work around that.